The strongest hero in the world, the fist that defies God, the one above all. In the world of One Punch Man, Saitama's strength merits all of these titles. However, this is how he's normally greeted.
Who are you anyway?
It's a good thing I came.
Saitama, the bald-headed juggernaut of Z City, wasn't always the world's strongest hero. In fact, his beginnings were painfully ordinary. He lived alone in a rundown apartment in the ghost town district of Z City. As a kid, he obsessed over superhero shows and dreamed of saving people from monsters. In middle school, third-year bullies cornered him and demanded money. Saitama didn't back down, but he wasn't strong enough to fight them either. They took his 200 yen, and that's when things took a weird turn. A pig-like monster called Piggy Bankin slammed into the bullies, demanding their money too. Saitama overheard that one bully was just trying to buy lunch for his younger brother. Feeling fired up, Saitama chased after the monster to recover the money. He got flattened instead. The authorities eventually took Piggy Bankin down, but the incident left Saitama questioning his place in the world. 3 years before the main story begins, Saitama was just another unemployed guy on the job hunt. Before that, he worked a part-time job at a convenience store. After another failed interview, he encountered Crablante, a human-crab hybrid monster. Crablante noticed Saitama's deadpan stare and decided to let him live, saying he was hunting a kid with a cleft chin. Saitama spotted the child, and despite initially walking away, jumped in when Crablante attacked. He saved the kid, fought back, and after getting beaten down, ripped out one of Crablante's eye stalks with a necktie. This spontaneous act of heroism reignited his childhood dream. He trained every single day, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10-kilometer run. No AC, no heat, just raw grit. His body was constantly in agony. He vomited blood, ached all over, and felt like quitting daily. But he stuck to it, no matter what. Slowly, painfully, his body began to change. Around day 300 of training, Saitama had improved, but wasn't unstoppable yet. When the monster personification of a light pull cord started smashing up the city, Saitama stepped in. The creature punched him through a wall, but Saitama got up, annoyed more by a cavity than by the monster's strength. He ended the fight in one punch and went back to training. As his training continued, Saitama ran into more monsters. During an early fight with Octopus Clawman, he sustained injuries but managed to save a bystander, King. By the end of a year and a half of relentless training, Saitama had lost all his hair and gained immeasurable strength. He kept training for another year and a half before officially starting his career as a hero. What began as a childhood fantasy turned into a bizarre, lonely, and legendary journey. And it all started with a tie, a crab, and a kid with a weird chin. Saitama's introduction kicks off when he sees a news report about Vaccine Man wreaking havoc in Z City. Saitama decides to step in, and he arrives just in time to save a young girl. Vaccine Man, the eco-terrorist monster, gives a classic villain monologue about humanity's sins. Saitama listens, bored. As soon as Vaccine Man transforms into a larger form, Saitama ends it instantly with one punch. Then, in classic Saitama fashion, he screams in frustration over how easy it was. Later, Saitama hears of a demon-level disaster in D City caused by the Brain and Brawn brothers. He climbs onto the giant Maruguri's shoulder and tells him to put on pants. Maruguri, confused, ends up killing his own brother by mistake. Enraged, he smashes Saitama into the ground with a barrage of punches, but Saitama walks it off and floors Maruguri with a single blow. Unfortunately, the punch knocks Maruguri into Beast City, leveling it. Not long after, Super Custom YO649Z Mach 2, a modified cyborg, appears. After delivering a long backstory rant, he is also one-punched into oblivion. Saitama then dreams about fighting the subterranean people, finally experiencing a thrilling challenge. But it was all a dream. The real invaders show up far weaker and are wiped out instantly. Saitama sighs in disappointment. This arc starts off with a mosquito. Saitama, annoyed by the insect, fails to swat it. Soon, he sees a news report about a deadly mosquito swarm closing in. While chasing the mosquito, he stumbles onto a fierce battle between Genos, a cyborg hero, and Mosquito Girl, the swarm's queen. After seeing Genos is losing the fight, Saitama casually walks up and slaps her into the stratosphere. When Genos asks to become his apprentice, Saitama agrees, mostly because Genos is persistent. The first to arrive, Kamakiri crashes through Saitama's ceiling. Saitama punches his head off. Outside, he buries Frogman and Sluggerus, and then gets pulled underground by Ground Dragon. As Ground Dragon holds him in place, Beast King shows up. Saitama is so unimpressed that he starts dozing off. Beast King attacks, killing the other two monsters in the process, and Saitama sidesteps all the attacks, then unleashes his consecutive normal punches, vaporizing Beast King. Ground Dragon flees, but Saitama digs underground and knocks him out too. Nearby, Genos defeats Armored Gorilla and interrogates him. After seeing Beast King's remains, Armored Gorilla spills everything about the House of Evolution. A few hours later, Saitama and Genos hike up to the headquarters. Genos blasts the above-ground section into rubble. Inside, they find a metal door leading to the underground lab. There, they meet Carnage Kabuto, the lab's strongest creation. He immediately smashes Genos into a wall and sizes up Saitama. Initially cautious, Kabuto lunges, but stops short, sensing danger. In a panic, he demands to know how Saitama became so powerful. Saitama reveals his now infamous training regimen. We already know that, but still. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 10 kilometers of running, every single day, no AC or heating. Genos is horrified, and Kabuto is furious, both in complete disbelief that a simple training routine like this could lead to such godlike power. But it was true. Entering Carnage mode, Kabuto declares a week-long rampage. He slams Saitama around the lab, but Saitama is distracted by something more urgent. He realizes that today is Saturday, and he missed the supermarket sale. He punches Kabuto in oblivion, ending the fight. Genos checks the time and tells Saitama that they can still make the sale if they hurry. Saitama turns on the TV only to be greeted with chaos. Hammerhead and his terrorist group, the Paradisers, a bald-headed gang of destruction-happy men, are rampaging through the city. The media urges citizens to stay away from bald men with dangerous energy, which hits Saitama right in the ego. He's furious. These guys are about to tank his image, and he's not having it. Determined to stop the group and save face, Saitama hits the street, but instead of admiration, he gets suspicion. Everyone mistakes him for one of the Paradisers. Annoyed, but focused, he eventually stumbles into a forest while searching for their hideout. There, he runs into Hammerhead himself. Hammerhead, misreading Saitama's presence, thinks he wants to join. Saitama sets the record straight. He's here to end them. Hammerhead doesn't take kindly to the rejection and launches a full-force windmill attack. Saitama, unimpressed, stops it cold. A single punch shatters Hammerhead's battlesuit. Instead of delivering a finishing blow, Saitama lets him go, telling him to cut the villain stuff. Then we meet Speedo Sound Sonic, a ninja with an ego the size of a planet. He shows up looking for Hammerhead, but upon seeing Saitama, mistakes him for another Paradiser. Of course, because of the shiny bald head. Sonic attacks with high-speed kunai and sword strikes, but Saitama calmly deflects everything and snaps Sonic's sword in half with one hand. Saitama tries to explain that he's not a bad guy, and even asks if Sonic knows who he is. When Sonic says no, it hits Saitama hard. For a hero who has saved the world multiple times, being unknown is a brutal blow.
あ、そうっすか。
それにどっちでもいいことだ。お前は俺の技を2度も見切った。それが問題だ。
Sonic, insulted that Saitama saw through his attacks, shifts from assassin to pride-driven maniac. He attacks again, and Saitama, trying to stop Sonic, accidentally delivers a low blow. Sonic vows to return stronger and flees, humiliated. Back at home, Saitama vents to Genos. The thing that left him truly shocked that day, not the fighting, but the fact that Sonic had no idea who he was. Genos reveals that Saitama's not officially registered as a hero, so no one knows about his feats. Saitama decides that it's time to fix that. He agrees to let Genos be his disciple, but only if he registers with the Hero Association too. Saita and Genos enroll in the Hero Association certification exams.
次反復横跳び30秒。よーい始め。次 1500m 走始め。
The result? Genos gets an S-class rank instantly. Saitama, despite obliterating every physical record, barely passes with a score of 71, just 1 point over the threshold. Why? He bombed the written test. He's placed in C-class, the lowest rank. During orientation, A-class hero Snek mocks and attacks him. Saitama wipes the floor with him in seconds. Soon after, Genos asks for a sparring match. Saitama agrees. Genos unloads a barrage of energy blast and hand-to-hand combat, but Saitama dodges everything without breaking a sweat. Genos never lands a hit.
腹減った。飯だ飯。
When the fight ends, Saitama lands a death punch that stops inches from Genos' face, but obliterates the landscape behind him.
だが俺が先生の強さに近づけるイメージが全く湧かない。
Days later, Genos shows up with a massive backpack and asks to move in. Saitama says no until Genos offers to pay rent. Deal is done. Saitama then learns that C-class heroes are dropped from the registry if they don't stay active. With only 2 days to find a villain, he searches Z City. It's too peaceful. On the second day, Sonic attacks again. Saitama isn't in the mood and casually bites through Sonic's sword before threatening to punch him if he interferes again.
俺から逃げられると思うのか。俺今よく見てなかった。
Their argument is interrupted when Tank Top Tiger shows up and belittles Saitama, saying he's unknown and unworthy of the title hero. Sonic attacks Tiger, then starts endangering civilians. When a falling car threatens a child, Saitama saves him with a tree and decides that Sonic is the villain of the day. One clean karate chop ends it all.
来ないならこっちから行くぞ。
ここにいた。これで仕事をしたことになるのかな。
With that, Saitama keeps his hero license intact and adds one more confused opponent to his list of future rematches. On his way home from shopping, Saitama stumbles upon the Kombu Infinity, an actual Kombu monster that just wiped out 2 A-class heroes. Instead of panicking, Saitama connects the dots. He forgot to buy Kombu, and now here's a monster made of it. Problem solved.
間違いないです、先生。例えばこのサイトによると
何も言ってねえだろ。
Z 市調査結果。
Chilling at home, Saitama learns that he and Genos have gone up in the rankings. He's gone from C-class rank 388 to 342, and Genos is now 6th in popularity among S-class. But before they can celebrate, Genos gets called in. A massive meteor is on a collision course with Z City. When Genos fails to stop it, Saitama steps in. He tells Bang, a powerful martial arts master, to look after Genos, then casually punches the meteor into dust.
落ちてんじゃん。ねえ。
problem is, the fragments still rain down, causing major destruction. Saitama shrugs it off. Mission complete. 3 days later, the public reaction is not great. Though his rank jumps to C-Class rank 5, people blame him for the destruction. Tank Top Tiger and Tank Top Black Hole accuse him of being a fraud and challenge him publicly. Saitama easily wipes the floor with both, but the angry crowd turns on him. Saitama comes across a sea folk threatening a city, and unsurprisingly, ends the threat in one punch. Jin explains Saitama's now ranked 2nd in C-Class, with a shot at moving to B-Class if he makes it to number 1. But there's a problem. Rank 1 hasn't budged in 6 months. Then, the Deep Sea King attacks J City. Saitama and Genos head out, but get separated. Saitama stumbles upon Moomin Rider's phone and uses it to find the Sea King. He arrives just in time to catch Moomin Rider's broken body. Impressed by his courage, Saitama finishes what the others couldn't. He punches straight through the Sea King like he's paper.
分かった。雨降ってるから早くかかってこい。
But when the crowd starts questioning why the other heroes even bothered, Saitama steps in again, this time with words. He pretends the other heroes weakened the Sea King, and that he just got lucky with the final blow. The crowd buys it. Saitama's hated, but the heroes keep their reputation. After the battle, Saitama receives 5 letters. The first 3 are hate mail, the 4th, a quiet thank you, and the 5th is from the Hero Association, officially promoting him to C-Class rank 1 and inviting him to the HQ. At HQ, they ask if he wants to move to B-Class. Saitama doesn't really care, but decides B-Class would be less of a hassle, mainly because it frees him from the weekly reports. He accepts. While walking home, he's lured into an Odin shop by the smell. Inside, a familiar voice offers to buy him a drink. It's Moomin Rider, bruised but smiling. He reveals himself as the one who sent the thank you letter and says that he wants to celebrate Saitama's promotion. Saitama, genuinely moved, accepts and orders a mozuku. Later, Saitama rose from B-Class rank 101 to 63. Saitama and Genos are busy watching martial arts master Bang demonstrate one of his techniques. Neither Saitama nor Genos is particularly impressed. The Hero Association needs every S-Class hero. Something big is brewing. Genos suggests that Saitama tag along, just in case things go sideways. So, off they go.
いやいや、そこにいるのはジェノス様ですね。SQ は全員集合せよとのことですので、ジェノス様も来ていただきます。
レベル竜が来たか。
やれやれ。チャランコ、留守を頼むぞ。
At HQ, Saitama's entrance doesn't go smoothly. He's met with skepticism from S-Class rank 4 Atomic Samurai, who refuses to even shake his hand. Despite Bang vouching for him, the swordsman only respects those in S-Class. Saitama shrugs it off, until a voice starts heckling him. He turns and sees what he thinks is a mouthy kid, but it's actually Tatsumaki, the S-Class rank 2 Esper. Saitama calls her a lost child, which does not go over well.
And even if you were invited, a polite person would decline. The nerve. You're probably just here to get close to us Class S heroes. You disgust me. Get lost.
What's with the attitude from this lost child?
Then the briefing begins. Sitch, a Top Hero Association official, lays it out. A legendary fortune teller named Shibabawa predicted a catastrophe so devastating it left her dead from the shock, and it could hit any day now.
She's a seer, a great one at that. She correctly predicted earthquakes and monster attacks.
I hold in my hand her last and perhaps greatest prophecy. As she took her last breaths, choking on that cough drop, she managed to leave this note. It is a grave prediction that will absolutely come to pass. Here it is. Can you read it?
The earth is...
Saitama jokes that maybe it'll happen today, and then seconds later, the building shakes violently. Outside, the Sky King and his monsters are closing in, until they're instantly vaporized by something even worse. A colossal alien spaceship the size of a city. Saitama doesn't wait. While others scramble, he's already on the rooftop, watching the UFO. No hesitation, he leaps towards it, dodging cannon fire mid-air. The first to block his way is Boros, a powerful alien enforcer. One punch, gone. Inside the ship, Saitama bulldozes through enemies and tech, brushing off Gouketsu's telekinetic tricks and ultimately killing him with a rock throw to the head. Then comes the final boss, Boros, the leader of the dark matter thieves. Boros is intrigued his best fighters didn't last seconds. Now, he faces Saitama himself. Their battle is anything unlike Saitama faced. Boros reveals that he's been laying waste to galaxies out of boredom, desperate to find someone who could take a hit. Saitama decks him, cracking Boros' armor and unleashing his full power.
強大すぎる俺のパワーを封印する役目を持つ鎧が今砕かれた。
そうか。
For the first time in ages, Saitama is mildly surprised. Someone actually lived through his punch. Boros transforms, gaining speed and strength. The fight escalates, smashing through the ship. Boros even lands a kick strong enough to launch Saitama to the moon. Saitama takes a moment, then rockets back to Earth with a crater-shattering landing. Now in rage, Boros unleashes his ultimate attack, Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon, a blast meant to wipe out the Earth's surface. Saitama replies with his Serious Punch, and Boros is annihilated. The cannon is deflected and cards part across the globe. Boros, lying broken, finally admits the truth. He knew Saitama wasn't even fighting seriously. Then, he dies with a smile, having found the battle he longed for. Saitama walks out the collapsing fortress, meeting up with the other S-Class heroes. Genos rushes in, worried, but Saitama plays it off. Tatsumaki, furious over the interference, starts throwing insults. Genos calls her out, and she retaliates by slamming him into rubble, until Bang steps in and shuts her down. After the dust settles, Saitama later goes on to casually obliterate another city-level threat, Pluton, with a single punch. Then, in classic Saitama fashion, he vents his frustration, not over danger, but over his own strength being too overwhelming. Saitama and Genos were casually shopping in M City. Genos detects the presence of King, S-Class rank 7 and wildly known as the strongest man alive. But Genos can't figure out why King is there. Suddenly, a robot named G4 crashes the scene, targeting King directly on behalf of the organization. Saitama offers to help, but Genos, eyeing a higher rank in S-Class, insists on handling it solo. Saitama steps back and lets his disciple handle the situation. While that battle is unfolding, we find King at home, locked in a life-or-death struggle with a video game character name screen. Saitama randomly strolls into King's 22nd floor apartment. Yes, through the window. King doesn't even notice him at first. Once he does, he quickly switches games, pretending he wasn't wasting time. Outside, Genos is clashing with G4. Inside, King is just gaming. Then Saitama asks, why did King run from the fight? Just as things get awkward, a massive bird monster crashes the scene, flying straight towards the apartment. Saitama stops it with one hand, holding its beak mid-flight. He offers King a chance to take it from here, but King freezes. Saitama starts suspecting that King might actually be attracting monsters. That theory tracks. King flashes back to his past and remembers monsters always did chase him, but he was never the one defeating him. A mysterious figure, who turns out to be Saitama, always saved him. Remember him? The bystander who saved Saitama during Saitama's training days?
したことね。今日は大金星。
Because King was seen at the scenes, the public assumed that he was the hero and gave him the name King. Overwhelmed, King breaks down and confesses to Saitama he's a fraud. He never earned his reputation. Meet Fubuki, leader of the B-Class Blizzard group and younger sister of Tatsumaki. She rolls up to Saitama's apartment with two goons, Eyelashes and Mountain Ape, trying to recruit him into her group. And Saitama's uninterested. They attack. Saitama flattens Eyelashes and Mountain Ape in seconds. Fubuki, undeterred, goes full psychotic barrage. Still nothing.
世の中にはとんでもなく強くて悪い奴がたくさんいる。 そいつらに立ち向かうのがヒーローだ。たとえたった一人でもな。自分より弱い手下を集めて強くなった気でいるお前には無理だ。いつか泣かされる。派閥、新人狩り、ランキング。
Saitama doesn't even flinch. Her final move is a box cutter, but Genos accidentally interrupts the showdown while attacking Speedosound Sonic outside, causing an explosion that shakes the whole place. Genos and Sonic clash hard, both evenly matched. Fubuki, watching this chaos, is stunned, not by Genos, but by the fact he's calling Saitama his master. Eventually, Sonic fights Saitama too, but again, it's no contest. Saitama wipes the floor with him, and Fubuki realizes Saitama's strength is far beyond his rank.
全く勝ち目がないように思える。お前に勝ってこのイメージを払拭しないと俺は前に進めないんだ。
必殺マジシリーズ。
マジ反復横跳び。
何をし
反復横跳びしながら通り過ぎただけ。
Still trying to sway Saitama, she mocks his low rank, but then King shows up, casually asking for the game he lent Saitama. That's all it takes. Fubuki sees a pattern. The strongest heroes are drawn to Saitama, even if he doesn't care about status. She gives up on persuading him and decides to follow him instead. Soon after, the Hero Association gives Saitama the name Caped Baldy. Fubuki joins the ever-growing crew orbiting him, not because of his fame, but because of his unmatched power. Saitama, King, Genos, and Fubuki are gaming when Chiranko drops by. Chiranko is confused. His master Bang just kicked him out, and Genos explains it's for his safety, because a dangerous man named Garou is hunting heroes. Saitama then visits the Hero Association hospital. He brings Banana from Moomin Rider, Tank Top Master, and Chiranko, asking about Garou. Chiranko offers Saitama his ticket to the Superfight martial arts tournament. Saitama immediately plans a disguise. Why? Because of 3 million yen prize money. While shopping for a wig, Saitama gets sneak attacked by Garou. Saitama doesn't even recognize him, and Garou goes in for a strike, but Saitama shrugs it off and responds with a gentle karate chop. That knocks Garou out cold.
知らねえ顔だな。無名の下っ端が。返り討ちだ。え、誰だてめえ。
Genos, thinking his master is finally self-conscious about being bald, calls Dr. Kusuno for a hair transplant. Saitama clears things up that it's just for the tournament. He's going to learn what martial arts are really about by pretending to be Chiranko. Game on. Saitama steps into the underground world of martial arts, undercover and wearing a ridiculous wig as he enters the Superfight tournament under Chiranko's name. While hiding his identity, he crosses paths with Sourface, who's participating in the tournament for his own reasons, and reminisces about Garou's past rampage at their dojo. Saitama listens with minimal interest and even calls Sourface's pursuit pitiful, not realizing he already defeated Garou days earlier. Once the tournament kicks off, Saitama has a forgettable conversation with Zakos backstage. Sourface tries to defend their martial arts honor, but Saitama doesn't care. He's only interested in fighting. Zakos mocks Bang, which gets under Sourface's skin. Saitama stays chill and notes that Zakos seems weak, and later proves it by slapping him into oblivion during their match.
ザッコス対チャランコの第2試合が始まります。殺す。強いチャランコ選手。なんとその恋人来ていないそうです。セーフです。
ならよかった。
That one slap, yes, just a slap, gets the attention of Suryu, a prominent martial artist and the tournament's top contender. Between matches, Saitama learns what a reverse seed is, calls Zakos weaks again, and continues treating the whole event like it's a minor errand. During Bakuzan's match, Saitama's fake wig is accidentally nudged mid-bout, which causes him to freak out and knock Bakuzan out of the ring with a reactionary blow. Once again, effortless victory. Saitama eventually faces Sourface and dispatches him the same way he did with Bakuzan, easily and with zero concern. Saitama climbs through the bracket and reaches the semifinals, defeating Chose without breaking a sweat. This puts him against Suryu in the finals. Finally, a matchup with potential. Suryu starts off flashy, landing kicks that don't even phase Saitama, but one of them knocks off his wig. Both men admit that they're looking for worthy opponents. Saitama even says that he's tired of finishing fights in one punch and wants to know what real martial arts feels like. Suryu is intrigued and agrees to give it his all. During the bout, Saitama plays defense, blocking and dodging with comical ease. At one point, Suryu asks about Saitama's routine, and the bald hero slips, mentioning he fights monsters. He tries to walk it back, claiming he wants to join the Hero Association, but Suryu doesn't buy it. Eventually, Suryu knocks off Saitama's wig clean off with a kick to the head, exposing his identity. Saitama responds by pulling his punch just inches from Suryu's face. But rules are rules, and with his disguise compromised, Saitama is disqualified. Suryu continues fighting anyways, unleashing a storm of attacks, including his ultimate move, Void Sky Dragon Fist. Saitama doesn't budge. Completely unbothered, he mocks martial arts as just cool-looking moves, tries to copy Suryu's technique, and ends up launching him into the stands.
君に武術の何たるかが少しは伝わったのかな？
武術とは要するになんか動きがかっこいいものだな。
なめるな！
鬼か。やべ。
逃げたぞ！待て！バックヤードの方だ！捕まえろ！
Despite that, Suryu is named the tournament winner by default. Then the real chaos begins. Monsters attack the arena. Suryu is in serious trouble when Saitama returns and casually saves him from Bakuzan, who had transformed into a monster. Bakuzan recognizes Saitama and tries to fight him, but Saitama obliterates him with one punch again. Suryu, blown away by the difference in power, warns Saitama about Gouketsu and the larger Monster Association threat. Saitama doesn't hesitate. Moments later, Gouketsu's head is flying through the air, courtesy of another casual one-punch kill.
弱小ヒーローが闇地獄殺人術鬼なき下段蹴り熊殺し中段蹴り地獄送りスト
ダメだ、思い出せね
え。君、本当は何者なんだ？
俺は埼玉。ヒーローだよ。
Suryu, finally humbled and inspired, asks to become Saitama's disciple. He gets a flat no in return. After the monster raid, Saitama looks for more action, but learns the monsters have already retreated. He misses the entire crisis, which makes him reflect. Maybe his boredom made him overlook something crucial. Despite battling top martial artists, he feels unfulfilled. No challenge, no deeper meaning. As he walks home, he runs into King, and they talk about heroism. Just then, Garou, now a monster, spots King and tries to ambush him. But Saitama, still unaware is Garou, sends him flying with a casual kick.
次の反応を予測しろ。読めた。覚悟しやがれ。
今襲いかかってきたやつ、知り合い？
いや、心当たりはないよ。
たく、怪人だけじゃなくてあんなチンピラまで相手してたらキリねえな。そういえばお前。
And just like that, Saitama continues his search for a real fight, still not realizing that he's already defeated the man he's looking for. While gaming with Saitama, King's emergency transmitter goes off. A monster's on the loose, but King says the S-Class heroes have it covered. When Genos is mentioned, Saitama's mood shifts. He has no idea where his disciple is. That changes quickly when they both arrive at the scene where Elder Centipede is chasing Bang, Bomb, and Genos. King baits the Centipede by name-dropping Blast. Once lured, Saitama obliterates the colossal beast with a single serious punch. Genos, battered, asks what he's still missing. Saitama flatly replies, power. Back at Saitama's place, the wounded regroup. Fubuki shows up with Hero Association news. The Monster Association is causing chaos. The others are too beat up to respond. Saitama, fed up with Garou's antics, decides it's time to put on the hero suit again. He also needs cabbage. Priorities. While out, Saitama ends up eating in the same restaurant as Garou, neither aware of each other. But there's a problem. Saitama forgot his wallet. With Genos out of commission, he's stranded until Fubuki conveniently appears. She offers to help track Garou in exchange for 70% of the credit and help with ranking up. Saitama agrees, tricking her into paying for his fries. Then Garou pulls a dine and dash. Saitama gives chase, catching him easily and lecturing him on skipping the bill. Ironically grateful, Garo's distraction saved him from the same fate. Garo, humiliated, attacks, and Saitama knocks him out effortlessly again, still unaware that he just found the man that he was looking for. Back home, Saitama realizes he's left the groceries behind and lost his wallet. Fubuki storms in with the cabbage. Bang asks Saitama for advice on training students, and as the night winds down, Saitama tries to relax, but hears loud noises from below. Garo is fighting overgrown rover underground. After brushing his teeth, Saitama decides to check it out. He descends into the tunnels just as the Hero Association launches a full assault on the Monster Association HQ. Saitama's journey takes him through flooded tunnels caused by the Child Emperor vs Phoenix Man fight. He stumbles into the subterranean people's graveyard and interrupts a confrontation between Child Emperor and Phoenix Man. Saitama tells Phoenix Man that monster transformations are pointless and annoying. Phoenix Man, rattled, returns them to the real world. When some revived subterraneans attack Waganma, Saitama ends them swiftly. He knocks out Galewind and Hellfire Flame with one punch, saving Child Emperor. Soon after, Saitama defeats Overgrown Rover and scares off Nyan, who realizes he's completely outmatched. Then comes the big one. Saitama meets Monster King Orochi. Orochi tries to make a grand introduction, but Saitama cuts him off, unimpressed. After Rover flees at the sight of Saitama, Orochi attacks. Saitama defeats him with ease, still unaware that he just killed the king of monsters. Wondering deeply, Saitama runs into Flashy Flash, who thinks he's a monster. The ninja is stunned by Saitama's ability to match him blow for blow. Eventually, they teamed up and find a monster named Monaco, who leads them through a minecart ride. Saitama loses and regains treasure, then fights off tentacles from Orochi's biomass. His punch indirectly helps Tatsumaki escape above. Buried in rubble with Flash and Monaco, Saitama finds a mysterious cube, which he casually drops, causing a tremor. This leads to Blast, the elusive #1 hero, teleporting into the scene. He confirms they touched the cube, dodges an attack from Flash, and then teleports the trio to the surface. Saitama reunites with Genos, who is in rough shape. After defeating a skyscraper-sized water monster with a serious punch that splits the ocean in half, he finds the floating ship in danger. With no land to stand on, Saitama rides the ship like a surfboard, guiding it to safety, saving the crew from a watery grave. Right after that, the ground shakes. Sage Centipede rises, joined by a now ocean-sized evil natural water. As the two monsters brawl with Garo, Saitama charges in and disintegrates the aquatic beast with one punch. Meanwhile, Blast, the mysterious top-tier hero, teleports in briefly, drops off Tatsumaki with King, and vanishes, confusing everyone. Saitama reunites with Garo, who's now evolved into something far from human. But our bald hero has no idea who he is. Garo rants about destroying the Hero Association, calling himself a monster, but Saitama, puzzled by Garo's habit of saving people, doesn't buy it. After a half-hearted exchange, Garo throws a punch. Saitama dodges and accidentally clocks him, which jogs both of their memories. What follows is a full-on fight. Garo pushes hard, but Saitama tanks it all, barely flinching, and retaliates with a slap that sends Garo flying. They clash again when Garo threatens Tario, a kind-hearted kid who wants to be a hero, but Saitama's holding back, promising not to kill him. Garo insists he's the stronger monster, and throws a combo of destructive moves, even dodging Saitama's strike with martial arts finesse. Still, Saitama stays calm. The human monster attacks again, only to get slammed into a volcano, unintentionally saving lives in the process. Saitama knows that even in monster form, Garo's got hero instincts. But then Garo levels up again, this time powered by God, and now the fun begins. He blasts Saitama with nuclear energy, copies his consecutive normal punches using mode Saitama, and launches a massive gamma ray burst. Saitama, now mildly annoyed he got a scratch, jumps into space to take the hit. The blast sends him flying across the galaxy. Back on Earth, Garo slaughters multiple heroes, including Genos. Saitama returns too late, holding Genos' core, and that's when he snaps. Enraged, he fires a serious punch at Garo, who counters with one of his own. Before their fists collide and potentially obliterate the Earth, Blast teleports them to space just in time. Then comes a serious punch. The shockwave is so intense that even Blast and his companions struggle to redirect it away from Earth. The force launches both Saitama and Garo to Io, one of Jupiter's moons. On Io, the fight gets unhinged. Saitama holds Genos' core in one hand and tells Garou he only needs the other to win. Garou uses hyperspace portals to confuse and strike from all angles. Saitama kicks portals away like they're soccer balls, dodges through them, and flips entire craters with serious table flip, launching tons of debris. He then hits Garou with his omnidirectional serious punch, overwhelming him from every direction. Garou tries copying Saitama's strength, but it's no use. Saitama's power is just growing exponentially during the fight. One sneeze nearly destroys Jupiter. A fart propels him through space to chase Garou back to Earth. Even after his defeat, Garou asks why Saitama won't kill him. Saitama replies, he's a hero, and he's honoring Tario's wish to spare him. But tragedy strikes. Tario dies from Garou's cosmic radiation. Overcome with guilt, Garou teaches Saitama a time travel technique. Before he can finish, God kills Garou and reclaims the borrowed power. Saitama, however, masters the technique instantly, traveling back with Genos' core. He intercepts the past version of Garou with one punch, erasing the ominous future before it starts. He fuses with his past self, losing the memory of what happens, but still holding Genos' core. When Genos reboots the core, he gains access to all the memories of the alternate future. As he tries to explain everything, Saitama, being Saitama, just tells him to stop. Saitama, fresh off of his heroics from the Monster Association War, finally gets some recognition. He's promoted to A-Class rank 39. The Hero Association rewards him with a high-end apartment in A City, marking a major upgrade from the rubble of Z City. While scavenging what's left of his old home, he picks up two strange followers, Black Sperm and Overgrown Rover. He doesn't mean to adopt them, but they end up tagging along like lost puppies. Back in A City, the local security robot takes a shot at Saitama and his new pets. He turns the machines into scrap before being questioned by the authorities. King shows up just in time to escort Saitama home. And that's where we meet three quirky fellow tenants, Butterfly DX, Chain and Toad, and Forte. Things escalate when Forte challenges Saitama to a duel after Saitama mocks his musical fighting style. Before anything serious happens, the Blizzard group accidentally runs over Forte in the parking lot. Fight's over. Saitama dumps his pet duties on Butterfly DX and Chain and Toad and tags along with Fubuki. She's headed to A City's prison to visit someone from her past, Psychos, the former Monster Association big shot and fellow high schooler. Psychos once claimed to see the future and supposedly had a vision so terrifying it pushed her to try and destroy humanity, and Fubuki wants answers. Before she gets any, Tatsumaki storms in, aiming to finish Psychos off. That leads to a massive psychic clash between the sisters. Saitama takes on other rampaging monsters during the chaos. He later returns to stop Tatsumaki from harming Fubuki. A verbal spat leads to a full-blown showdown between the Tornado of Terror and the Bald Cape. Their battle tears across city borders, flattening landscapes, squashing criminals, and killing a dragon-level monster without even trying. The Hero Association, hilariously cut out the loop, mistakes them for another major threat. Tatsumaki is furious that her powers can't hurt Saitama, and even more furious when he calls her a midget. Injured from her previous fights, she eventually collapses the ground beneath him and assumes she won. She hasn't. Saitama digs himself out and creates a follow-up confrontation between Tatsumaki and the Blizzard group. Seeing how injured Tatsumaki is, he urges Fubuki and her squad to take this chance to finally free themselves from her control. They vow to get so strong that even a full-powered Tatsumaki won't be able to push them around. Saitama tracks down Tatsumaki afterward for a talk. She shrugs him off, but not before ranting about his hidden strength and lack of ambition. Saitama shrugs back. He asks her why she's even part of the Hero Association if she can't stand people. She starts to answer, but then jets off, leaving Saitama alone, puzzled by the half-spoken word, blay. At HQ, Saitama runs into Forte, Butterfly DX, and Chain and Toad again. He warns them not to barge into his place without asking. Surprisingly, Forte apologizes. Turns out, after seeing Saitama in action from his hospital bed, Forte has had a change of heart. He offers Saitama clothes, grossing him out in the process, and formally acknowledges Saitama's overwhelming strength. The trio now wants to be accepted by him. Meanwhile, Genos takes down a monster called the Forest King, then asks Saitama for a rematch. The result? Saitama doesn't even flinch. Genos' flashiest attack only manages to temporarily blind him. Saitama's verdict? You're not stronger, just brighter. Genos admits that climbing the Hero Association ranks has gotten him nowhere. Public trust is tanking. Citizens think that the association is all talk and no results. A new group, the Neo Heroes, is rising fast. They promise reform, better standards, and even claim to have thousands of candidates lined up, including current pro heroes. Genos asks if they should join, and Saitama doesn't hesitate. No. If Genos was considering it, that ends it here. He won't go either. Back at HQ, they find Forte building a doghouse for Black Sperm and Rover. Saitama introduces Forte as a neighbor, and Genos, unable to move in with Saitama, takes over Forte's apartment next door. And just like that, Saitama's life gets a bit weirder again. Saitama stumbled headfirst into an ancient war. Two opposing forces, the Saints and the cult known as Deathborn, had been locked in conflict for centuries. Saitama, completely unaware of their history, defeats Rangor, a warrior from the Dragon Alliance allied with Deathborn, just because he got in his way. Grateful for the unintentional help, the Saints explain the backstory. A monstrous being known as Cruel Dragon once terrorized humanity. 9 ancient warriors managed to steal it away using 9 magical orbs. These orbs are now guarded by the Saints to prevent the beast's return. Deathborn, however, is a dragon-worshipping cult obsessed with bringing Cruel Dragon back. They believe they are dragon-born and seek to wipe out humanity to usher in a new era ruled by their ancient god. The conflict has been going on for 800 years, but Deathborn recently stepped up its operations by exploiting the frequent monster chaos in the world. During an interrogation, one of the Deathborn members starts a dramatic monologue about their apocalyptic goals, only to be interrupted by Saitama, who throws a bucket of water in his face. Tired of the drawn-out drama, Saitama decides to skip the wait. If there's a big bad dragon, he wants to punch it now, not later. To everyone's horror, he grabs the wet cultist and demands to know where the 9 seals are. The Deathborn member eagerly agrees, and the two escape from the Saints to unseal the dragon. Soon, Saitama gathers all 9 stones, and a revival ceremony is performed. The Saints arrive too late. Cruel Dragon breaks free, roaring his return and declaring humanity's doom. What follows is a display of pure anticlimax. Saitama punches the beast into oblivion almost instantly. The Deathborn cultist is left in shock. Dragon is dead, problem solved, Saitama style. Saitama is losing repeatedly to King in video games. While Saitama fumes, King starts into a mini crisis, realizing that games are the only place where he can win. Saitama offers a solution: work on your muscles. Flashy Flash, the elite ninja, arrives at Saitama's apartment to formally introduce himself. Saitama slams the door in his face. Flash threatens to break it down, and then Genos shows up. The two superhumans start sparring outside, and Saitama, annoyed, tells them to cut it out in front of his new place. Flash reminds Saitama that he broke his sword. Saitama offers to fix it with duct tape. Flash declines. After some bickering, Flash demands compensation, and Saitama tells Genos to grab the duct tape anyways. Flash then boldly declares that he's making Saitama his disciple and tries to drag him off to train. Saitama shuts the door again. When Flash insists, Saitama says he doesn't get along with anyone who calls him Cape Baldy, so Flash agrees to use his real name and challenges Saitama to a match. If Saitama can land 1 hit in 30 minutes, he wins. Otherwise, he becomes Flash's student. The fight begins. Flash is confident until Saitama instantly appears in front of him. The ninja dodges, barely. Saitama does it again. Flash realizes he's sweating and wobbling already. He tries to convince himself it's excitement. Flash unleashes his flashy fists, and Saitama stands there unfazed. Flash pulls out his sword, and Saitama catches it with his teeth. The blade breaks. Just as Saitama moves in for his death punch, Genos interrupts with a monster alert. Saitama drops everything, calling the match a game of hide-and-seek, and heads out to E-City. At City E, chaos is being stirred up by a group called the Internet Surfers. Speedo-Sound Sonic appears, looking for a rematch with Saitama. Flash and Sonic recognize each other. While Flash and Genos mop up the monsters, Sonic charges Saitama and gets flattened again. Back at the apartment, Flash and Saitama discuss Sonic. Flash is stunned that Saitama remembers Sonic's name, interpreting it as a sign that Sonic is more dangerous than he seems. In reality, it's just because Sonic just keeps showing up. Flash starts recounting his shared history with Sonic in the Ninja Village. Apparently, Sonic helped him preserve his humanity during their brutal training. Flash once spared Sonic's life by feeding him poisoned stew during a massacre. Saitama casually mentions that he still has stew ingredients in his fridge. Later, Saitama decides to visit Sonic, because Flash won't stop whining about his broken sword, and Saitama wants to swipe a replacement from Sonic. At Sonic's hideout, Saitama runs into the ninja village leader, defeats him instantly, and steals his stash of weapons. When Sonic and Flash arrive, Saitama gives them everything as compensation and walks away, leaving both ninjas dumbfounded. Another day, another absurd saga wrapped up in one punch. Right after shopping, Saitama runs into Genos, who asks for another sparring match. This isn't just for fun. Genos wants to collect data for Dr. Kusuno. Saitama, always chill, agrees. But before they can throw hands, Sweet Mask appears out of nowhere and invites Saitama for tea. The next day, they hit up a cafe. Saitama asks for a Coke. Sweet Mask overrides him and orders a shiso ginger ale. That pretty much sets the tone. Saitama silently zones out as Sweet Mask delivers a full-on sermon about heroism. Things escalate when Sweet Mask treats their hangout like a high-intensity training session. He outlines his plan to mold Saitama into the perfect hero, complete with staff and a lifestyle overhaul. On the Ferris wheel, Sweet Mask finally opens up, revealing his backstory and his dream of creating the ideal hero. Saitama listens, then promptly nopes out, leaping off mid-ride to go meet Genos for their scheduled spar. On his way home, he bumps into Genos again. Turns out the match is off. Sweet Mask's fighting a monster named Pesky Clown, and they're being dispatched to assist. On the way there, news breaks. Sweet Mask is a monster. Saitama boats to the scene and arrives just in time to catch a stone thrown at Sweet Mask. The crowd wants blood, and Sweet Mask offers himself up as a martyr, begging Saitama to kill him for publicity's sake. Saitama refuses, and instead, he shows rare empathy, understanding the inner struggle, and escapes the chaos with Sweet Mask. Next day, Saitama is back to his usual routine, delivering cheap dog food to Rover's caretakers. But it doesn't stay quiet for long. He's approached by the Hero Names Victim Association, a crew of disgruntled heroes with terrible hero names. They want Saitama to be an executive. Why not? Soon, Saitama's outside the Hero Association HQ, protesting with the group demanding better names. But mid-protest, 5 dragon-level monsters are reported across multiple cities. Time to move. Saitama and his gang head to Y City, where they face a robot monster named Mirror. At first, Saitama lets his teammates take the spotlight, but when Mirror unleashes powerful energy spheres and mocks him by calling him Caped Baldy, Saitama decides that's enough. One punch, and the monster's obliterated. Saitama and the association continue their protests, much to the annoyance of the Hero Association execs. On one such day, they run into Blue, who suspects that Saitama is hiding his identity to build mystique and become the next Blast. He challenges Saitama, warns him, and leaves with the promise to meet again on the battlefield. Saitama barely has any time to process that before Suiko and Suryu approach. Suiko thanks him for saving her and asks to exchange techniques. Suryu jokes about dating Suiko and invites Saitama to join the Neo Heroes. He declines. Back home, Saitama eats with Genos, who shares intel from Blue. Metal Knight's been up to shady business. Monsters are appearing more often. Saitama decides to act in the open while Genos takes to the shadows. When they respond to another monster threat, the Neo Heroes beat them to it. Frustrated, Saitama keeps pushing forward. After Genos finishes working with Drive Knight, the two head to Dr. Kusuno's house. There, Saitama hands over a broken handheld game console. Kusuno fixes it effortlessly. They discuss the Metal Knight situation. Saitama suggests a direct confrontation, but Kusuno advises caution. They settle on a plan. Genos fights, and Saitama backs him up. Genos reminds Kusuno about examining Saitama's body. Saitama hesitates until he hears there's a barbecue. After dinner, Saitama agrees to the scan, but wakes up mid-procedure to chaos. Robots attack Kusuno's home. Saitama saves Genos and defeats the attackers, but Kusuno is mortally wounded and dies after speaking with Genos one last time. With Genos upgraded and Kusuno gone, the two heroes prepare for a final move against Metal Knight. But before they can act, an explosion rips through a nearby city. Trouble, as always, doesn't wait.